Welcome back guys to another book review video. In the last episode I promised you something special is coming. So today I'm gonna keep my promise and I'm gonna show you my Lord of the Rings trilogy collection. So a little backstory about these three books. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, I got a job now. It's my very first job actually, and around the same time when I found my new job, I noticed in a few local bookstores that they started selling these Lord of the Rings books, these brand new translated books into Slovenian language. And I decided, you know what would be a good idea? To invest my very first payment into these books, into this collection. So I started my job, and then I waited a whole month for my payment to arrive. And the very same day when I received my payment, I went to the local bookstore and I grabbed this book collection for over 100 euros. But it's worth every euro, I think, every cent. It's really, really nice. So these three books are special to me, The first thing I bought with my first paycheck at my first job. So let's look at this collection. As you can see, they came in a box, these three books. It's very nice. And different colors, yellow, red and green. Also the box itself is pretty nice. Here you have the title, Lord of the Rings, and this really nice yellow and red ring around it. Up here you have the logo of J.R.R. Tolkien, and here you have the, what's it called? The poem of the ring, one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, and darkness bind them, all that stuff, but translated to Slovenian. And now let's take the books out and look at each individual book. So first things first, we have Fellowship of the Ring. This one is the yellow one. It's the first book, and it's quite nice, simple but really nice looking. The black background, the golden, I think, elvish letters, I don't know, the yellow ring and the golden eye in the middle. Yeah, it's pretty nice looking. The one thing I don't really like is that this this golden paint is a bit easy to, scratch off. As you can see here in the eye, it's a bit scratched off. I accidentally scratched it. But overall, I like it. Next we have The Two Towers. And you can see here it's even more scratched off. I hate myself. This one is the most scratched of the three. Don't know what I was doing, but yeah, this whole tower was supposed to be golden, and now it's a bit black at the top. But this one is the red one. You have the red ring, the two towers, and the bird. I don't know what that is. Also nice looking. And finally, we have Return of the King, the green one. This one is also pretty nice. And I forgot to mention, all three books are hardcover, so that is pretty nice as well. And I may add that the Fellowship of the Ring book actually has a single drawing, and it's this door when they arrive at Moria, when they are attacked by that Watcher in the water. So yeah, I don't know why only this drawing is in the book, and this is the only drawing in all three of the books, but okay, that's what Tolkien decided. Okay, so let's get into the story itself. The story continues from where we left off in The Hobbit. It's right, The Hobbit, it's right there on my bookshelf, you can see it, it's just off the camera. But anyway, the story continues, and Gandalf finds out that the ring that Bilbo found in that cave is actually the one ring from the Dark Lord. And he decided that the best course of action would be to destroy the ring. And he convinces Bilbo to give the ring to his nephew Frodo. And Frodo is our main protagonist. Well, some people say Sam is actually the main protagonist, and I kind of agree, you know. Well, both of them are the main protagonists, the two main protagonists, Frodo and Sam, yeah. So anyway, Gandalf has decided the ring must be destroyed to once and for all defeat the Dark Lord Sauron. So now he, Frodo, Sam, Pippin, Merry and some other fellows go on adventure to destroy the ring in the only place it can be destroyed, that is in the volcano where it was created. That's right here on my wallpaper. In the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, it is explained how the Fellowship itself is formed. It gives some backstory to new protagonists and new characters in the series. For example, Frodo and Sam. We also get some more, what to call it, day-to-day life in the Shire and how hobbits live. And what I found interesting is that there are a few chapters, especially from this book, that are not in the movies. They are not in the Lord of the Rings movies. Like for example, here they stop at this farmer guy before they leave the Shire, and you know, he gives them some food and they sleep at his house during the night. And also the whole stuff with Tom Bombadil is in this book, but it's not in the movies, and that was also a pretty fun chapter to finally meet Tom Bombadil after I heard so much about him. And yeah, it was a pretty fun chapter. It's a bit shame it was not in the movies, but I can understand, you know, due to pacing issues, it was never decided to put. And the next book, that's the Two Towers, it starts right off where the first ended, you know, Boromir died, spoiler alert, but you know, who doesn't know Lord of the Rings story in this day and age. Merry and Pippin get kidnapped actually, by some orcs, and our trio of protagonists, that's Gimli, Legolas and Aragorn, decide to go on a hunt for these orcs to save their friends. Meanwhile, Frodo and Sam are alone, you know, walking to Mordor, and they find Gollum on the way. Well, Gollum finds them, and they actually trap him, and they force him to lead the way so they don't get lost on the way to Mordor. And there's also Treebeard in this book, and Gandalf comes back, and the Battle of Isengard, and it's a lot of stuff. One thing I would say about the Two Towers is that there were a few parts that, for me, my personal opinion, felt a bit boring. Especially, I'm talking about the part when Frodo and Sam and Gollum are on their way to Mordor, and after that swamp, after they get out of the swamp, and it just kept dragging on. I was like, come on, when are they gonna get to Mordor? Come on, when are they gonna get to that cave with a giant spider. Like, come on, when is that gonna happen? Just drags on and on. Like, it's not. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, it should have been shorter. At least for me, I would make it a bit shorter. But otherwise, I really enjoyed this book, especially the battle for Isengard and the chapters with the Treebeard. That was really, I thought he was a really interesting character. And I forgot to mention, for Fellowship of the Ring, I didn't really have any parts that I didn't enjoy. Nothing really dragged on, like in the Two Towers, for example. And the last one is Return of the King. If you ask me, it's a good conclusion to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It has everything. It has epic battles, final stands, love story, heroism, all that fun stuff. It also has one chapter that was also left out of the Peter Jackson movies, and that is towards the end. It's the cleansing, I think that's how it's called in English, cleansing of the Shire. Basically, when the hobbits finally arrived home from their adventure, and they found out stuff has changed in the Shire when they were gone. It's basically much worse now, and I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but it's a pretty interesting chapter, and really nicely ties up, the whole story. And it also shows, how our main four protagonists, Pippin, Sam, Frodo, and Merry, have grown over the course of these 3 books. But like in the Two Towers, I also found some pages to be a bit longer and a bit boring, to say the least. At least for me, my personal opinion again. For example, when Gandalf and Pippin arrive in the city of Minas Tirith, I thought that, especially after Gandalf leaves Pippin alone, that those pages just dragged on. Nothing special was going on, nothing interesting. And I guess we get some world building and stuff like that, but again, nothing really happens in those pages, it just drags on. And another one would be, surprisingly, towards the end, when Sam and Frodo are about to destroy the ring. Well, no, they haven't. It's actually on their way to the volcano, to the Mount Doom. After they escaped the orcs in that tower where Frodo was captured, and towards the volcano, it's their path towards the volcano. It just drags on a bit. Like, there is one scene where they are when they are wearing orc armor and they are mistaken for, fellow orc soldiers, and they get beaten into submission. Basically, that was pretty fun, but otherwise, it's also, drags on a bit without much happening. But other than that, I also thought this book was pretty good. Oh, and another maybe controversial opinion about this book is that a romance stuff going on between Faramir and that lady that killed the Witch King. I think her name is Eomir. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. About that romance stuff, I didn't really care about that, to be honest. I don't know. I didn't find it boring, but I just didn't care, So all in all, that's Lord of the Rings story for you. It's quite long, but I think it's worth the time you take to read it, to read all 3 books. this was my first time reading Lord of the Rings. I did watch the movies, but it was quite a long time ago since the last time I saw them. I think it's more than 5 years. Same goes for the Hobbit movies. Lord of the Rings was written quite a long time ago, and it still holds up to this very day. It's still going really strong, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. And you can see the effect it had on the popular fantasy series, books, video games, movies, just fantasy in general. Like, for example, elves, dwarfs, dragons, all that stuff. It's all of that is really taking inspiration from Lord of the Rings, from Tolkien and all his other books like The Hobbit. One thing I forgot to mention is that you can see how the tone shifted in Lord of the Rings compared to The Hobbit. It's a lot more mature, you know. It's a lot more, how to say it, it's not aimed toward kids anymore, and it's also more like you get the feeling that adults are talking to adults, you know. You get that feeling sometimes in The Hobbit, but it's, you know, it's much more simplified for the younger audience, while in these three books it's much more serious and also quite dark at some points. But I think this video is long as it is, so I think it's time to finally rank these books. I'm gonna rank them all of the three together, you know, as one big series. So, how would I rank Lord of the Rings trilogy from 1 to 10? Like I said, I did find some of the pages to drag on a bit more than others, but overall I really enjoyed my first reading of Lord of the Rings trilogy. And it is the fantasy series, you know. I think if you ask anybody on the street, they know what Lord of the Rings is. They heard of it before. So, and it's also the main inspiration for today's fantasy. And because of that, I'm gonna give Lord of the Rings trilogy a perfect score, 10 out of 10. So, 10 out of 10 for Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Also share this video if you want to. And I will see you in the next book review video. Until then, have a safe day.